Buddy, this is Kathy Wood from Beads, Boxes, and Beyond, and today I want to show you a journal that I recently completed, and I just wanted to share with you. This was started out as a really old book. The old book had this beautiful marbled paper on it, the front and the back cover. The spine of the book was in such bad condition. It was flaking, it was ripped, it was just falling apart. As were the pages inside. They were just so brittle, you couldn't really do anything with it. But I just wanted somehow to save this beautiful marbled paper artwork that was on the cover. So this is what I did. I repurposed the book cover, the front and the back. I added a few metal pieces on the front just to add a little bit more pizzazz. But the title of this journal, I call The Old School Days. Because I've started collecting ephemera, postcards, and things like that had to deal with school. And so this would be a perfect journal for a gift for someone who is a recent graduate, who is a teacher, for appreciation, or an English major, or somebody who just loves to write. This would be the ideal book for them. Lots of blank pages within, so they can do all kinds of writing, and then my own personal little touches in there that I hope will inspire everybody or anybody who would like to write in it. This right here, I have 4 signatures. Let me get back to that. There's 4 signatures in this book. And between the 2, right here in the middle of the book, I do have a folder, and we'll go over that in a few minutes. So it's not a super big book, but it is packed with all kinds of stuff. So let's go exploring, okay? Lettering is one of the main things in this journal, and the alphabet. Anything has to do with school. These are, and you'll see them throughout my book, these are family-sized tea bags that after I used them, I dried the tea. I just let them set out and dry, took the staple out, unfolded it, and then adhered them into the signature. And I just think it's a lovely touch to the book. It's kind of like those old books that would have the tissue paper in the front where the picture would be. There was always like a picture or some kind of a something in the front, and it would just kind of set it aside, typesetting, something like that. It was always covering that. But anyways, I really like this little bit of warm color to my vintage journals. So in the beginnings of each signature, you will see I have a pocket. They might not all be a corner pocket, but they each one have a pocket. And I have lots of tags that you can write on that are in here. And every one of my journals I try to include some kind of an old photograph and old postcards. I go antiquing an awful lot. This one here jumped out at me at the store, and I had to purchase her. She's 17 years old, and that's somebody's handwriting on the back right there. But I thought, to me, she looked like she could be a young teacher just starting out in a career teaching school. She could be a classmate of somebody that you love dearly, that you told secrets to. She could be a mom of like 12 kids. Who knows? You know, that's gone through, and this is kind of like her little peace of mind of all their kids' experiences as they were going through grade school. It could be anything, and that's why I put these things in my journals, to help inspire the writer, to help add inspiration to storytelling, to give it that vintage feel, anything like that. But it's nobody in particular. It was somebody lost in a shoebox at the antique store, and I wanted to give her a home. So that's why it's in here. And like I said, I have an awful lot of pages to be written on, a lot of blank pages. Included in the paper here, this is all dyed with walnuts. I husked some walnuts and stained some paper, and it just came out of a gorgeous color. And it also has some impurities in it, which just adds to the quality of the paper. I also have paper that is like music writing paper. You don't have to write music on it. It's got lines on it. It'd be very easy to just use for writing on. Some more of my walnut stained paper. I have some pages from a lettering booklet that I just threw in here because it has to do with the alphabet. I have some cardstock that you can write on or attach pictures with the tab. And no educational journal would not be complete without your grade school writing paper. And so I have some of that in there. I think it's kind of fun to see. Some ephemera. And right here is a reproduction, and I just printed it on my coffee stained paper. A reproduction, but it's really neat because it has both the cursive and the print of both the upper and lowercase letters, and a lot of people have no clue what that is because penmanship is going out the wayside. So I just really like this piece right here. While I was antiquing one day, I found a booklet, and you can see I took it apart. I found this booklet, and it was an autograph book from somebody who, their classmates. And it must have been either like a 5th grade, 8th grade, high school, and they all wrote these really neat little verses and rhymes. Some of them are dated, some of them they give the address of where they live, but I don't know what state it is. It just gives you like a street address. So these were on really, really thin paper, and I backed them up on cardstock, so you could write on the backs if you want, or add a picture, or whatever you want. But this one here says, remember me late, remember me early, remember me as your schoolmate, your friend Geneva. And she lived on Belafonte Street. So those, I have another one in another part of the journal here, and I'll read it to you. They've got really cute quotes and things. And this here is a hair clip. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's a copper color hair clip. I just like the color. It's very vintage looking. I got them in kind of a large bulk bag at Hobby Lobby on their clearance rack. I'm not using it for hair. I'm using it for clipping into the journals. I think it just works really well. I mean, look at that. It just blends in real nice. It clips on there really, really well, and you can use it both the front and the back to clip things. So, yeah, keep a lookout for things like that to add to your journals. And then I also included some vellum, and that would be beautiful to write on if you don't smear it. That'd be really pretty. So this is the inside of one of the signatures. I have 4 signatures, like I said, and each inside the middle of each signature is a pocket, file pocket like this right here. Excuse me. These file pockets came flat on a white sheet of paper. They look like they were to be put through your printer. I picked them up at a thrift store. So what I ended up doing, you can punch them out of the paper, and so what I did is I took them and I punched them out, and I left them unassembled, and I ended up putting my collage work on here and my vintage feel to it. Still kept it unassembled, but when it came time to do my journals, I wanted to hide the knot. This is all sewn in. Each one of my signatures are sewn in to the book spine. So what I did is I sewed this file pocket in and tied it, and then assembled it together, and so it's hidden. It's a hidden knot, and I just really like it's kind of a finished look right there. So inside this pocket I have a Lowell library card, which you can write on the back if you want, and a pictorial alphabet card, which, yep, you can write on the back of that one too. And of course the pockets are big enough that you can stuff anything else additional in it. If you don't want my stuff in them, you can take them out. It just adds character and a storyline to the theme of the good old school days. So now this is the other half of the signature, and it's just a repeat of what we went through. There's little things here and there. This is practice makes perfect. Here's our grade school paper and some of the walnut paper, cardstock, and this is from the pamphlet. Here's the music score paper, and then this is the back of signature 1. Signature 2. This right here is, it's actually a note card, a blank note card. I picked these up from a company, mail order company, called Victorian Trading Post. And they came in a packet like this. And there must be, I don't know, 8 or 12 of them in here. The back of them has a UPC and it's got all this writing on here. I really liked the picture on it, and I wanted, when I saw this in the catalog, and I ordered them online too, I just had to purchase them because I knew I was going to do educational books, eventually more than one. So this is one of the cards, and you could very easily take this and even, I probably on my next book will make this into a small journal and add pages to it. But I covered the back with lined paper just because I wanted to keep it the vintage feel and not have all that on the back of it. This, the person who has this, they can write in this. They can add pictures to it. They can do whatever they want. They could send a note to somebody if they wanted to with it. So that's what is clipped in right there. So this is signature number 2. Same thing here. We've got the tea bag here. We got our pocket. And in this pocket, we've got an old ad. I found a catalog, and the ads were so brittle that I cut them out and put them with the themes that I think that'll work. This one is an old world globe for 15 cents for some school classroom. So that's there. And then, of course, I have the tags that you can write on. And then this here, this is a certificate for punctuation and regular attendance. It's dated 1935, and it was in a booklet of like a dozen of them, and each one represented a different national park. And this one happens to be the Grand Canyon, and on the back it explains a little bit about the Grand Canyon. But I just thought it was so neat because it has the person's name, and it has the school, and the superintendent's signature on the bottom there and all. So yeah, that I thought definitely is going to go into an educational themed journal. So that's authentic. That's not a reproduction. That's a real authentic piece there. Okay, and so then we have our notes paper, musical note. Here's the other half, part of the booklet, the cardstock, and the vellum. So this makes the center of signature number 2. And here we got another one of these envelopes that I decorated both sides of it with my collage work. And inside this pocket we have a card that you can write on. And this is another one of those advertisements that was in that catalog, and they were so brittle. So this one I cut out and I mounted it then on cardstock so it would be more rigid. And you could put a picture on it, you could write in it with a gel pen or something like that. So that's there. I keep moving my book, don't I? And this here's another one of those pieces from the catalog. It's a slide rule. Now, who still uses slide rules? I don't know if they still exist. Every once in a while I'll see one at the antique store. But the slide rule has kind of gone on its wayside, and unfortunately calculators are now the thing. So that I put there because that's pretty cool. Okay, the grade school paper, and we've got cardstock, the pamphlet, musical paper, and this is the end of the second signature. So this is smack dab the middle of the book. So what I did here is I ended up getting, I had this set of old style looking file folders. I cut it down and made my own to fit inside the middle of this book. I just really like that print. So I didn't want to do anything with it because the print is so neat. So that's just what's there. Again, before I assembled the file folder, I tied it in when I did the spine, tying all the pages in. I tied it into the spine, and then after it got tied in and knotted, then I assembled it together and glued the sides together and everything. So everything's hidden. And inside this one here, I have a reproduction report card. This is a part of the Tim Holtz collection of stuff that he has available. And then this is the library card catalog card. This isn't actually, it is a reproduction, but it's so awesome. I did stain the edges a little bit, and the back already comes with lines on it, but I wanted to share with you. It's the same place that I ordered the graduation cards. It comes like this. They come in this cardboard box that looks like a card catalog. Is that awesome? Look at that. Is that awesome? I just think that's awesome. So when you open it up, let me move my book out of the way. So when you open it up, it just slides out. You have this container with all of these really cool index cards in here. Look at that. And they look like they're really old, you know, typeset and everything, and the colors and all. But it contains all these little cards. They're note cards. They're postcards that you can write on. And then it comes also with these really cool envelopes. Now, I am going to do something with the envelopes for sure. I didn't put any in my journal this time, but these are awesome. So they're made for correspondences, but I saw them in the catalog and I wanted to do something and put them in my journals. The one thing that I did do different, you know, I took this card, but I poked the hole out of the bottom to make it look a little bit more realistic, but it comes like this. I don't like white too much, so I took that out. So I wanted to share that with you, and yes, I'm probably repeating myself. I will have a link to that catalog or that site at the end of my descriptions of the video at the very bottom. So anyways, that's the middle of the book. And now we're going on the third signature. Same thing here. I got my tea paper and a pocket. It's not a corner pocket this time, it's just a regular pocket. But there's another piece from the catalog for a colored pencil for 10 cents. And then also a small picture of a Women's Day magazine with a girl on a teeter-totter. And I thought that would be appropriate. So in this pocket, I have a picture of early 1900s. I think this came from a magazine or something. But I mounted it on black cardstock, and then I added the some lined paper so that you could write on it. But check out the clothes and the old bicycle. Playground. So that's going right here. And then here's another reproduction card catalog card. And this one I got somewhere online, so it's blank on the back side. But a great place to write your little notes and things. So let's go through the papers. This is just paper writing, paper. And we got the music sheet paper, the walnut stain. We got the lettering booklet, some more cardstock. Here's the grade school paper and the vellum. So this right here is the middle of the third signature, right? Third signature. So this is that CD file pocket, and I purchased this. Check that out. I purchased this postcard at the antique store, and I'm always looking for something unusual, and because it had graduation on it, I had to have it. So this is a plus though. Not only does it have this picture, which I think is just wonderful. Check that out. Look at the penmanship. Look at the writing. Look at the stamp. Oh my gosh. This one is dated 1910. You believe that? So this to me is a little treasure in itself. This to me is a story in itself, and the recipient of this journal will have the advantage to read what they're writing about. So that I slipped right in there. In fact, I think I'm going to go this way because I love seeing the contrast of that red with the browns and everything. So we're going to do it like that. This right here is a small envelope that I put in there. And I don't know if you can see that. This is a medallion or a medal of some sort that is, let me read it. It says Indiana School Band and Orchestra Association. It's the state solo contest. So I don't know if all the contestants got a medal like this for being there and being a part of it, but I bought this at an antique store. It feels like it's a heavy brass. There must have been 6 or 8 of them, I want to say, just tied together with a string. And I thought, oh, I'm going to get that. Those will work really well in an educational school journal. So, yeah, that's pretty neat. It's nice and hefty. So that has its home right there. And you don't have to keep it there if you don't want to, but it's there for now. I gave it a home. Here's another small ad, and this one is for pencils with your name on it. That came from that catalog. So we got all the papers again. We got all the paper again. We're going to write and write and write and write. The lettering, writing, writing, writing. The music paper. And that would be the end of the third signature. And I clipped this in here. This is a full page of that catalog where I was cutting out some things. Language self-taught books. I thought, I got to keep the whole page together because this is awesome. And this just yells at me and says, school and learning. So that's why I have it in here. And it is very brittle. So, of course, I backed it up on cardstock so you can do whatever you like on the back. And I just clipped it right in there. I just really like that. Look at the color on that, a nice warm color. So this is the last signature of the book. And what I did here is I made a simple little pocket. And in the pocket is this tiny miniature little journal. So you just open the flap, you can open it like this, and it's got, you know, the vintage looking paper in it. And in the middle of it has another little envelope where you can tuck a medallion. You can tuck a lock of hair. You can tuck an old school picture in there, whatever you like. And then, you know, you could write about somebody or something. And then here's a little pocket right here. You can put something in. And, yeah, it's all sewn together. But this started out its life as a coin envelope. You see that? That's a coin envelope. And I just added, you know, decorative papers and stuff like that. And made a little book out of it. Is that cool? So this one you could even slide in your pocket and then fill it up and later on put it back in your journal. So here's the last signature. Here's the tea paper, the tea bag, another tuck spot or pocket. And this one actually is a reproduction of a report card, a different style report card. And then this is an ad from that old catalog. I cut that out with the fountain pen, which I just love fountain pens, and I think this is appropriate for this book. And then a piece of scrapbook ephemera just to write on. I thought, that typewriter, you know, it's part of school. And then we've got, you know, the music note paper, the brochure thing, cardstock. We got the grade school paper and the vellum. So here's the center of the last signature. And here is the folder with my vintage looking collage work on it. And in this pocket, I picked up this vintage postcard. And this is Washington Junior High School from Jamestown, New York. This is the kind of schools that I grew up going in, and not sure the date of it, but it's vintage and it's really cool and appropriate for the journal. The only sad thing is there's no writing, there's no stamp, but it's still a pretty cool postcard. Just adds to the storyline, right? So that is a beautiful piece that I've added in there. And then we have some more pages for writing. And here's another page, like I was telling you, of the autograph book. And it's backed up on cardstock like the other one. This one reads, "When you get married and your husband is cross, take up the broom and say, 'I'm boss.'" And that one is written by Louise Smith, and it's dated 1926. Another one of the hairpins right here, the hair clips that I was holding that in place, my copper ones that I just love, 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 love. So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, down to the very end. So here's the back of the signature. I put in this little pocket envelope that I made out of the grade school paper, writing paper, and I just tuck a tag in there that you can write on. You can tuck anything in here you'd like, but that's what that is right there. And then on the back cover, I found these scissors at an antique store, and I fell in love with them. They shouted out at me. It was in a glass case, and to me, they just said grade school. They said scissors from school. You know, back then the classrooms would have all the scissors and all. The kids didn't have to buy them. And that's what it looked like to me. Just a child's pairs of scissors that they use for schoolwork. So I made this pocket, and this pocket right here is actually a toilet paper roll that I squished in half. I covered with decorative paper. Of course, I just love the penmanship on that paper. And sewed around the edges. And secured it into the book, double secured it down in the bottom. And that is to hold these vintage scissors that I love so well. The colors, the coordinating colors, they're just beautiful. Black and brown, creams and beige, just beautiful. And so that's my journal. This is the good old school days, and I hope that it inspires somebody. I hope that it can get a story written on its pages, a wonderful, ideal gift for that new graduate, somebody who's just recently graduating, a beautiful gift for a teacher, a beautiful gift for anybody, English major, you know, and you don't have to be any of the above. It could be somebody who just has a passion for writing and wants something decorative on their coffee table that they don't mind people opening up and reading. So I really appreciate you stopping by. I really appreciate you hanging out with me for a few minutes and letting me share a piece of me. So have a good rest of the day or night, and check in and make sure if you're interested in the items that I got from my catalog, the Victorian Trading Company, Victoria Trading Post, yeah, I'll put the link on it down below. So thanks for stopping in, and I will catch you later. Bye.